On to row 3. And it's Matt Swanson, who's been fast all weekend out of Acton, Mass, in the number 3. And alongside Bobby Santos out of Franklin, Massachusetts, making his first start in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour this season. And aboard Dave Sapienza's number 36. 7th starting spot goes to Doug Colby in the Mayhew Tools Reynolds Auto Wrecking number 2, alongside Chase Dowling in the Tomeno number 99, the S&S Chevrolet. 9th starting spot goes to the number 64 of Rod Summers out of Manchester, Connecticut. And alongside will be the number 21, Showtime Jimmy Blewett from Howell, New Jersey in the Gershaw Recycling Blewett Scrap Chevrolet. 11th starting spot to the 46 of Craig Lutz out of Miller Place, New York. And the number 24 of Andrew Krause from New Jersey will start 12th. 13th starting spot goes to Ronnie Silk out of Norwalk, Connecticut in Kevin Stewart's Chevrolet number 85. And Anthony Nocella out of Woburn, Mass. The Nocella Paving number 92 starts 14th. 15th comes Ryan Newman from South Bend, Indiana in the number 77, the Curb Records Chevrolet, alongside Blake Barney out of Lakewood, New Jersey in the number 14. Next row, starting spot number 17, Calvin Carroll out of New Jersey, alongside Andy Seiss from Hampstead, New Hampshire, in the number 70. Then it's Ryan Priest, the Berlin, Connecticut driver, in the number 6, and Eric Goodale in the number 58. 21st starting spot goes to Max Zackham out of Preston, Connecticut, the Lumax MPZ Trucking Chevrolet, alongside Timmy Salamito from Islip, New York, in the Starrett Racing Ford. 23rd starting spot goes to the number 75 of Chris Pastriak from Lisbon, Connecticut, alongside the 82 of Woody Pitcat from Stafford, Connecticut. 25th starting spot goes to the 35 of Andrew Mola from Shelton, Connecticut, and Joey Musicario from Walcott, Connecticut starts next in the number 47. 27th starting spot, the 06 of Sam Ramo from Westminster, Massachusetts, and then Jeff Rocco from Meriden, Connecticut in the number 1. The 29th starting spot goes to the 45, Timmy Catalano from Ontario, New York, and the 32 of Tyler Rutgema out of Oswego starts in the 30th spot. Final row, Wade Cole out of Hartland, Connecticut, and J.B. Fortin from Holtzville, New York, make up the field of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour for the Eastern Propane and Oil 100, set to go green. Great shot of some of our previous winners in Victory Lane here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and a shot of Ryan Preece in that number 6. Preece, of course, in his first full-time season for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, making yet another modified start here this weekend at a place where he would like to get to Victory Lane in a modified for sure, as the field follows the pace car around. On the pole, John McKennedy out of Chelmsford, Massachusetts in the number 7. And Justin Bonsignor, the multi-time winner and defending champion of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, also in that front row, ready to turn him loose for 100 laps. Pace car peels down onto pit road, and here come the modifieds. Green flag, and they're underway, racing down into turn 1. McKennedy will lead from that outside pole position as he heads out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Coming with him is Tommy Catalano. Catalano right with him up on the back bumper as they race into turn 3. Down on the low side, trying to make a move, is a guy who won the All-Star Shootout here yesterday, Patrick Emmerling. But he washes up the racetrack, has to get out of the throttle, and gives up a couple of spots. Bobby Santos gets by, as does Chase Dowling in the number 99. Off the second turn and down the backstretch. It is your leader, McKennedy, with Catalano right on the back bumper. Bonsignor in the third spot. Quickly Santos up to fourth and takes Dowling with him in a straight line down across the stripe. Santos, Dowling, the 3 of Matt Swanson, and Patrick Emmerling in the 07. Working the low side now, Ron Silk in the Stewart number 85, trying to make something happen down low, down into turn number 3. Trouble off the second turn. Couple cars go around, including Brian Dawsett in the 97 and the number 57 in trouble up there as well. So we are under caution once again. Todd Cooper in that number 57, able to back the car up. We'll see if he can get it refired and pull it away. Possible minimal damage. Also headed down to pit road is the number 23, Jacob Perry. Heavy damage to the right front of his number 23. And a tough break for Jacob Perry, making his first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour start here at New Hampshire. Flat left rear for Walter Sutcliffe's number 78, and heavily towed out on the right front of that number 78. He also heads for pit road. So a skirmish out of turn 2 involves a number of cars, and one still sits up there. The 57 of Todd Cooper, the OB Builders car, as again he rolls the car down the racetrack, trying to get it refired and available to drive it back over to pit road. Takes it down on the flat part of the racetrack in the middle of the turn, but has yet to be able to pull away. As again you see some of the cars damaged from that incident down on pit road. They go to work on the 23 of Jacob Perry. And already back to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour garage area, or where they're pitted this weekend, is Walter Sutcliffe's number 78. So it looks like the 57 unable to drive away from the scene. They're looking for a push for that car. There's Sutcliffe's 78. He sits by himself. Again, trouble on the right front of that car and a flat left rear tire. So the early stages, our pole sitter, our fast time setter here this weekend for the Modifieds, the number 7 of John McKennedy, out to the lead at the green flag. Took Tommy Catalano with him. Justin Bonsignor right there as well. Bobby Santos in the Dave Sapienza number 36. And as you may or may not know, Sapienza injured in a crash earlier this season. Has to stay out of the car during his recovery. And for this weekend, and at least one more race, Bobby Santos, who hasn't run with the Modifieds in 2019, gets the call to drive that car. He led some of the All-Star Shootout here yesterday and was part of the dramatic finish, the 3-wide photo finish at the line for that 35-lap All-Star Shootout yesterday afternoon for the Modifieds. Santos wound up second. Of course, Santos with great success here at New Hampshire. He's won 3 of the last 4 modified races. Our most recent winner is out there in the number 99, and he's right behind Santos in the 5th spot. That is Chase Dowling. Dowling jumping into the car driven for so much time by the great Jamie Tomeno. Tomeno puts Dowling in the car, and they have had a good weekend thus far. He is currently in the 6th spot. Patrick Emmerling, the winner of that All-Star Shootout, is 7th. Doug Colby is 8th. Jimmy Blewett is 9th, and Rob Summers rounds out the top 10. We are 6 laps into the Eastern Propane and Oil 100, as now they've called a tow truck to pit road to take care of Jacob Perry's car. Looks like that will not get fixed on pit road, and he'll have to be towed off, as the caution flag will stay out while that work goes on pit road. Lights illuminated once again on the pace car, and will bring the field by the start-finish line. The Toyota Camry pace car now extinguishes the lights, indicating we can go back to green flag racing next time. And Jacob Perry's number 23 going off on the hook. Tough break for a guy that was really looking forward to making his first start here this weekend at New Hampshire. He said in an interview that he'd watched so many races as a kid from the grandstand here, and this was a thrilling moment, but he's out early in this one, unfortunately. Get ready for the race to restart. The cars head down the backstretch behind the Toyota Camry pace car. John McKennedy, the leader, restarting on the outside with Tommy Catalano alongside. Again, in the early stages of the Eastern Propane and Oil 100. Pace car brings him through the 3rd and 4th turn and gets ready to peel off onto pit road. We get ready for the restart. Green flag is in the air, and McKennedy is back into the lead by a full length at the start-finish line. Takes Bobby Santos with him. Santos follows him down into turn 1, but Catalano goes way deep right in the middle of the 1st and 2nd turn. Makes the pass only briefly on McKennedy, as McKennedy on that higher groove out of turn 2 is able to rocket right back into the lead. Now Catalano has to contend with Bobby Santos. They race side by side out of turn 4.
That too wide among the entire field. They come back down to the granite stripe. John McKennedy now gets off in front of Tommy Catalano. They race side by side for 2nd as Calvin Carroll in the 25 car has problems. He's easing that car down into turn number 3, well off the base.
Off the 2nd turn and down the backstretch, that 99 of Chase Dowling taking a look down on the bottom as Catalano is hooked up with McKennedy. They are bumper to bumper on the backstretch, but what a run that Dowling tries to get. Tries to clear Bobby Santos and slide up in front of him, but it's not going to happen because he's stuck down on the bottom groove out of the draft. He's drop kicked back several spots.
Wasn't quite enough room for Chase Dowling. Left to run that little line at the bottom of the racetrack, still fighting the ground. The freight train stacked up in the outside lane, and finally, midway down the back straightaway, Chase Dowling slopped the line right behind that race.
Here is Tommy Catalano again, right up on the back bumper of the 7 of John McKennedy. They are trying to get away and have their own separate battle. Meanwhile, another 2 cars hooked together behind them. Bobby Santos in the 36 and Justin Bonsignor in the 51, trying to reel in those leaders who are about 1 car length ahead of them.
How about the Cup Series car? Ryan Newman and Ryan Preece. They are in a tandem draft. Meanwhile, in the back straight, Blake Barnes out of shape. They stack up 3 wide. Right in front of Ryan Newman and Ryan Preece. Everybody gets it sorted out by the time they get to turn 3. But the young driver, Blake Barney, well out of shape, nearly caused disaster on the back straightaway.
But a good save, and he didn't take anybody else out, so he's able to be back up to speed. He's fighting with Andy Seiss right now for position. Seiss working him on the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2.
Here comes Ryan Preece side by side with Ryan Newman. All 3 of the drivers that'll be running the Cup Series race here on Sunday, running nose to tail. Up front, Tommy Catalano. Feel in the front, he goes by John McKennedy, takes over the top spot. Your pole sitter now has moved back to 2nd.
Yeah, Catalano got a great run down the backstretch as the caution flag comes out. Yellow is out, and trouble for Woody Pitcat.
Pitcat is back, his number 82. Into the outside safer barrier. Pitcat in turn 3 finally able to get that car rolling once again, clears traffic and pulls down to the bottom of the racetrack. Pitcat he was right in the middle of that mix where we saw Blake Barney on the back straightaway get out of shape, and he was right there with Ryan Newman and Ryan Preece, and now he falls victim here just 13 laps into the Eastern Propane and Oil 100.
He's able to pull away, but heavy damage to the rear of that car. He'll go to the attention of his crew to see if there's anything they can do. Right now, it does not appear to have the body rubbing on the tires, but they'll get a good look at it when he gets back down onto pit road. But we have a new leader, and that is Tommy Catalano. Catalano got some real speed going down the backstretch and was able to tuck it down underneath McKennedy going into turn 3, safely make the pass and drift up in front of him to maintain the lead.
Interesting story with Tommy Catalano, only his second year on tour for that number 54 car. And if you're wondering why he's now running in second spot out on the racetrack, well, they have gone ahead and taken a look at the timing and scoring. In the Whelen Modified Tour, the rule is that everybody's got to complete a lap for them to look at that lap as a scoring. Most of the racetracks that these teams race on don't have loops like they do in the NASCAR Cup Series, and so they have to work off the start-finish line. So on the last completed lap, it looks as though John McKennedy, who's being shown out front on the racetrack, was indeed the race leader. And so that'll put Tommy Catalano back to the second spot. But getting back to Tommy Catalano here for a moment, a team out of Ontario, New York. This is a racing family through and through. His brother's race and his younger brother, Timmy Catalano, is also in the field here today. We also have his mom, who races and wins at racetracks up near their hometown. They have a very strong racing family, brought 3 cars to the track this weekend. And this one here is a brand new combination for them. They've got a brand new engine, won a pole earlier this season. They're really starting to figure out what it takes to be successful here on the Whelen Modified Tour. And on the biggest stage here, 15 laps in, to be running in the second spot, that's a big win for this team if they can keep it there all day long.
A couple of cars duck onto pit road as we get ready to go back to green. One of them is Ryan Newman. Some adjustments in the rear of that car. Also, the 35 of Andrew Moeller is on pit road, and just ahead of them, we see Jimmy Blewett going to the attention of his crew on pit road. They jack up the back of that number 21 and the same, making some changes on the back of that car. He is down and being pushed away, stalls the car, now gets it going, and the crew gives it a push to get him back out there. Those cars will rejoin the rear of the field.
These modifieds are pretty easy to work on. You saw some of the crew members for Ryan Newman reaching their hand in between the wheel well and the tire underneath the rear of that machine. They were adjusting the top of the shock collar to get the handling work a little bit better. You can see him throw a spring rubber in the air to change the shock, or the spring compression rate. So a lot of work being done there by Ryan Newman. He'll be starting at the back as we get ready to come back to green.
And that green flag is in the air right now, and it's Catalano and John McKennedy once again in that front row. McKennedy gets a good push from Justin Bonsignor this time, but Catalano hangs tough down on the bottom.
That's a good start through turns 1 and 2. Now changes lane, goes up high, attempts to grab from John McKennedy. McKennedy wasting no time at using the chrome horn down the back straightaway. It's all over Catalano.
Here is a real battle right behind them. Justin Bonsignor is third, but on the outside is Doug Kobe in the number 2, fighting with Bobby Santos. Santos is on the bottom, taking Swanson with him in the number 3, and Dowling in the 99. They're like the bottom freight train, if you will. They're side by side through the first and second turns.
Santos is always playing above the bottom here at the racetrack. He's got one of the fastest cars in the property right behind him. Both with one of the most famous modified cars. These guys have Cooper chassis in their garage. They're not store-bought. Matt Swanson in that blue car, some of the most famous modified drivers in the history of the sport have driven that car.
A little bit of breathing room now between our leaders, Catalano and John McKennedy. As Catalano led him by a length and a half across the stripe, McKennedy reels him right back into the first and second turn. And there goes the tail off the second turn and down the backstretch.
Hard to believe how successful John McKennedy has been. Today was his very first pole position. The battle was up front all day long. How about the 2 battling for the championship? Here's Doug Kobe putting the wheel underneath the 51 of Justin Bonsignor.
Can't make the pass, and instead slides back and will tuck it in up right behind Bonsignor down into turn number 1. Now, Kobe has to contend with Patrick Emerling as Emerling works him on the bottom through the first and second turn.
Emerling, yesterday's winner in the All-Star Shootout, gives up some ground now, opens up the lane to the inside. Greg Lutz, 46 for Miller Place, New York, scoots underneath and moves into the top 5 as Lutz. And that'll push Emmerling back the spot into the clutches of Eric Goodale at 58.
That front pack of 4 cars starts to pull away. That's Catalano, McKennedy, Doug Kobe right out front. And here's Emmerling again getting a challenge from Lutz as they head down the backstretch.
Bit of a gap now. Top 4 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We've got Patrick Emmerling in the 07, Craig Lutz, Eric Goodale, Chase Dowling, and Bobby Santos all at the bottom half of the top 10.
Chase Dowling takes a look underneath Eric Goodale going down into turn 1. And the caution flag is out once again. This time it's Calvin Carroll in trouble in the number 25. He had some issues in practice yesterday. As a matter of fact, winds up against the wall once again this time. Heavy damage to the left front of that number 25, attempting to drive it away from the wall. Don't know how well that's going to turn with the left front pushed in. He's going to stop and let the traffic go by.
So a tough break for the 25 car for Calvin Carroll. Looking to get that car turned back around and rejoin here at the tail end of the field. Left front damage on his automobile, but we're under the second caution flag of the day. We're 21 laps into the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A very warm day, but a picture-perfect day for modified racing here today. There was an awesome event here yesterday with the Whelen All-Star Shootout, a 3-wide photo finish between Patrick Emmerling, who is running inside the top 10 right now, running 5th, Justin Bonsignor and Bobby Santos. And we're expecting, based on what we've seen here so far on the first 22 laps, that we could have a very similar finish here today.
Well, Bonsignor made it 2 in a row on the tour, 3 on the season, and did its 3rd straight at that race at Riverhead a few weeks back earlier this month. Here he has top 10s in his last 6 of 7 starts, including 3 straight of 6th or better. He led a lot of the laps in September and looked like he was going to win that race, but a crash took him out on the last lap. So he's looking for a little redemption here this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt at all. Big weekend in September last year, the Musket 250. Everybody's going to come down pit lane here. NASCAR had scheduled at about lap 25 that there would be a competition caution, and so the team's starting to make their way down pit road, led by the race leader, Tommy Catalano, in that number 54 machine. He's going to take some fuel in his race car, but a round of pit stops here under this early race caution. Now, they do need a little bit of fuel to go the distance here, so you see a lot of cars take fuel, maybe make some adjustments, and then get ready for the second half of the race.
Well, you know, those that just take fuel are pretty happy with their race car. Tommy Catalano was that way. They're working on the suspension of Andy Seiss, number 70, and some other cars making some slight adjustments down there on pit road as well.
Now you'll notice that none of the teams that are taking fuel are taking tires also. You do have to take them on different pit stops, so you can change tires on one stop. You can put fuel in the car on another stop. So some of the teams electing to do fuel. Up on your ISM Vision screen and on fanschoice.tv, you're seeing Ryan Preece. They're making some adjustments. His dad, Jeff Preece, works closely with him, and they were working on the right rear. So they opted just to make some chassis adjustments on that car. No fuel went into that 6 car for Ryan Preece while he was on pit road.
Pace car leads them around. The track safety crew out there dealing with the car that is facing the wrong way over in the 3rd and 4th turn area.
So Ryan Newman has assumed the race lead in the number 77 machine. Had the opportunity to catch up with Ryan today, one of our suites available to race fans, the track bar, where Ryan Newman stopped down. He was talking about some of the racing action here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And this is a racetrack where when you get here on Friday morning, right on through Sunday evening at the end of the Foxwood Resort Casino 301, there's on-track activity all day long. Yesterday and last night, we had the inaugural running of the Dirt Duels presented by New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand. And Ryan Newman went over and he said, you know, you come to New Hampshire and you have racing all weekend long. It's a short tracker's dream, and that's one of the reasons why I get in this monopod. I love racing this style of race car that really brings out the best in drivers, and he has been successful here. He's won 4 times. He's got a pair of wins at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's got a pair of wins here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but it's been a while. The last time he won here was all the way back in the 2010 season. So Ryan Newman wants to show these grassroots racers that he can still get it done here at the Open Wheel Monopod.
For sure, and he's scored up front here behind the pace car right now as because I don't know that he came down on it. Well, he did come down the last time around here at New Hampshire, so he's able to get back out and be right behind the pace car here for the restart as the final couple of cars make stops on pit road, including Jimmy Blewett in the number 21 as they double them up now for the restart.
Joey Bucciaro, number 47 machine, will line up on the inside lane. One of only a handful of starts that Joey Bucci is making here on the Whelen Modified Tour. A driver that is trying to establish himself as a contender in modified competition. He's working on a deal that should put him in a car for a lot of races throughout the rest of the 2019 season. Just built a speed shop in Plainville, Connecticut, right behind where Ted Christopher used to race his modifieds out of. The hotbed for short track racing indeed. And so he is trying to step into that business and certainly having a good run here. After this caution flag here, up toward the front, qualified deep in the field in the 47 of Joey Bucciaro, but a newcomer to the Whelen Modified Tour to make his mark here on the big stage.
We've got 25 laps complete of the Eastern Propane and Oil 100. Jimmy Blewett back on pit road in the number 21, so obviously some problems with that car. Thought originally he went in for standard service, but he's back on pit road as the pace car is off and we get ready for the restart. They head out of turn 4, head for the green flag, and there it is. Ryan Newman gets a great jump at the start and takes Doug Kobe with him down into turn 1.
Tommy Catalano looking to go 3 wide. Joey Bucciaro gets swallowed up in the middle. Everybody going inside and outside. At the point on turn number 2, Ryan Newman. Here comes Doug Kobe down to the inside lane. Wheel to wheel for the spot.
What a run Kobe got out of turn 2, able to leap down below the 77 of Ryan Newman and make it stick through the 3rd and 4th turn. Slides up in front of him and will lead that lap. Now Newman coming under attack from Justin Bonsignor. Bonsignor looks low, but then decides to tuck it right up behind the number 77 and follow through the 1st and 2nd turn.
Everybody off turn number 2. Really a big lead for Doug Kobe out the front. 3 car lengths in hand. Now here's Bonsignor, the defending series champion. Ryan Newman. Holmesville, New York driver takes over second.
Kobe continues to extend that lead. Now Bonsignor all by himself in second, trying to reel him in as the caution flag comes out again. We got a couple of cars mixed up over there between the 3rd and 4th turn. We see that one of them, Timmy Catalano, is able to pull away from the scene, and the number 35 of Andrew Moeller also facing the wall up there in the 3rd and 4th turn. The window net comes down on Moeller's number 35, indicating that he is okay, but also will not be driving away from the scene. See some of the damage on the right side of the number 45 as it passes by.
And Moeller has knocked the right front. Take a look at your ISN Vision screen. You'll see where it all started a bit deeper in the pack. The 45 of Timmy Catalano got out of shape by himself, backed it into the wall, and Andrew Moeller, trying to avoid, locked up the brakes, tried to go to the right, and boy, he had nowhere to go. Into the outside safer barrier, knocked the right front off it. Andrew Moeller about ready to climb out of that car, and boy, a tough debut for a very talented driver. He's already won a couple of SK modified feature events down at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and that's one tough racetrack to win at. And so he has already claimed a short track victory at a tough racetrack, and you see him shaking his head as he climbs back to the back of one of our safety trucks for Andrew Moeller.
Probably thinking what he could have done differently, but I tell you what, for people that see that happen and wonder why, when you're on the brakes, particularly at that point of the apex of the racetrack, that it's like when you get on the brakes heavy and you're driving in a snowy parking lot. That thing's just not going to turn, and it's not going to stop, and that's what happened to Andrew Moeller.
Yeah, here in New England, we know it all too well. Not that we're talking about, although a little bit of ice would feel pretty good today on a warm day.
I thought if we mentioned snow on a day like today, it might help a tad.
Well, it's funny. A couple of years ago, we were announcing the final race down at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Connecticut, where they wrap up the season every year. And we were on the pace laps, and it literally started snowing before the green flag. We had to wait a lap or two before we went racing. It was the craziest thing I had seen with modified racing in some time. So it has happened, but I don't think it's going to happen here today.
In our minds, it will happen.
Well, you talk about that, though. I mean, when you lock up the brakes and you're riding on ice, you're just going to go the last direction you were pointed, and that's what happened to Andrew Bowler up there at that point in turn 3. A couple of cars coming down pit lane. Anthony Nocella in the number 97. Max Zackham, another part-time runner, is on pit lane, along with Melissa Feistfield, all making pit stops here. Kyle Soper on pit road as well. So a couple of teams taking the opportunity to come down and make some adjustments on their modified. We're 30 laps in to the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Well, Anthony Nocella, congrats to him. His wife, Caitlin, just got married at the end of June. Just got back from her honeymoon. He's right back behind the wheel of his race car.
Well, that's the way it goes when you're into heavy. You get married in the middle of the racing season. It's not going to be a very long honeymoon.
Yeah, well, there's truth to that. Ask my wife. I got married in the middle of July.
You were still picking rice out of your race uniform, I think, right?
Well, out of my microphone, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Doug Covey leads the way in the Eastern Propane and Oil 100. When you talk about drivers that make their way up through racing, later on today we've got the K&N Pro Series East, and a lot of the drivers you hear say, oh, well, we started in go-karts, and I started in quarter midgets and all this. Well, Doug Covey, like many, is a driver that started racing in quarter midgets, and they put an in-car camera during a test in his car here once at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and they found that when he drove down the straightaway, he had two hands on the wheel. When he got to turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, he took a hand off and just turned one-handed with his right hand. And so a lot of people joke about this. Say, why in the world are you driving with one hand in the turn and two hands on the straightaway? It's Doug Covey's style because as a kid, when you ran quarter midgets, it was easier in the turns to turn with one hand on the steering wheel because you didn't have enough room in one of those cars to use two hands. So believe it or not, Doug Covey around this racetrack, just out of habit, today, when he goes into the turns, he's only got one hand on the wheel. He's one of the best in the business.
The final of the track crew vehicles has left the speedway surface, and that allows the pace car to peel off onto pit road. We get ready for the restart with now lap 32 as they come across the stripe. And the two kingpins of the 2019 season are side by side down into turn 1, and trouble right at the start down on the bottom of the racetrack going down into turn 1. Looks like more trouble for Woody Pitcat. Tough break for Woody already with damage in the back of that car after backing into the wall a few laps ago. Now heavy damage to the right front of the 82.
Boy, Pitcat is just about chewed up both ends of that machine. Climbs out of the race car number 82. Boy, and he is disgusted. A former New Hampshire Motor Speedway winner. Pitcat was on the charge, won a race at Wall Stadium earlier in the year earlier in the 2019 season, rather. He's a guy that was looking to get back up on his A game. One of the modified greats here in the Northeast, and a dejected run today, but Woody Pitcat didn't even bother taking the helmet off.
Nope, and leaves the car to be picked up by the crew. We can see on the restart how he got shuffled out of line and slammed that inside retaining wall along pit road. And you see the heavy damage to the right front of the car. Well, on the left side as well when he hit that wall on the inside. So not happy as he makes his own way to the infield and being chased down by the safety crew to make sure that he is okay. But other than some hurt feelings, hopefully physically he is all right.
It's a tough day because you come here in front of all your race fans on the big stage, and you know when you come here to New Hampshire all weekend long, all the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series teams are talking about this race, the excitement of the modified race, and you want to be able to perform. And Woody Pitcat's a guy with a former race win here. He knows how to get the job done. To be taken out here 34 laps in, certainly a tough break for the Stafford Springs native down in Connecticut. And Woody Pitcat is not going to win today. He'll be one of the first cars out of the race as his number 82 gets ready to get picked up on the hook at the end of the front straightaway.
And he didn't want to deal with anybody when he got out of the car, too, being instructed by the NASCAR officials that he does need to get checked out by the medical crews, which is the standard procedure when you're involved in an accident and come out of the car, at least on the racetrack, and therefore they want to make sure that he's okay. But as we said, other than being really disappointed to be out of this and wadding that car up pretty good. Woody Pitkat seems to be okay.
You look at the front two in this race, Doug Coby and Justin Bonsignore. They have set the standard not only this year, but over the past 5 years of Whelen Modified Tour competition. Doug Coby had 4 consecutive series championships in that Mayhew Tools #2. Justin Bonsignore secured his first championship last year in that 51 car, and they go toe-to-toe. A race like this is really important when you look at the overall championship picture, because we've got 38 cars in the field here today. And like we just saw with Woody Pitkat, if you go out of this race early, well, now all of a sudden you're giving up a lot of ground in the points chase. And so those two guys today sets the second half of the season. It sets the tone and the temperature for whether or not your championship bid stays alive. And that's why this race is so important, that Doug Coby and Justin Bonsignore lead laps, dominate the race, and hold the upper hand, because they want to trump the competition at the end of the day here. Have a good run, if not be a good run.
And you talk about the championship standings coming into this, and how important it is to at least stay within the competition through the race and not be one of the first out. Woody Pitkat was 5th in the standings coming into the weekend, just a couple of points out of 4th, which is held by Craig Lutz. And he only had a handful of points over Eric Goodale, who was right behind him in 6th. So again, this is going to shuffle up the standings a little bit right here at the midway point of the 2019 season.
It certainly is not going to make their season any easier, but there's still a lot of time left to go. Jimmy Blewett in the 21 car pulled up behind the safety vehicle here along the front straightaway. He has shown 2 laps down. Looks like he'll be the free pass car and have the opportunity, once we get the 1 to go signal, to come back around and be just 1 lap off the pace. So far, we've run 36 laps here today. We've had a couple of cars fall out. This is the 3rd caution of the afternoon. We've had problems with the 23 of Jacob Perry, Walt Sutcliffe. Calvin Carroll is out of the race along with Todd Cooper, Woody Pitkat, and Andrew Bowler. Those machines back behind the wall. So 32 cars still remain on the Speedway. A couple of cars taking the opportunity to come down pit lane. Some adjustments being made for the second-year driver, Blake Barney, in the number 14 machine. Wade Cole on pit road, and Timmy Catalano, although he backed that car into the wall with 2 caution periods ago, the 45, makes his way back up onto the racetrack in turn 1. Badly damaged to the spoiler in the left rear quarter panel, but he is still circulating on the racetrack as well. So he's still in the race, although badly damaged in that 45.
Now Jimmy Blewett gets the wave around to pick up to the back of the lead lap cars as the lights go off on the Toyota Camry pace car, indicating we'll go back to green flag racing next time. And don't forget, fans, tonight the Trackside Live show taking place from 7:45 to 8:45 on the Trackside Live stage just outside the tunnels in the first and second turn, and a great a lot of music right after that show tonight as well from 9 to 10:30. Dirty Deeds, the AC Tribute Band, takes over the stage right after the Trackside Live show tonight here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So plenty of things to enjoy once the action on the racetrack is done today.
And we have a lot of action still yet to come. The Roxbury 200, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, that's coming up after the modified race. Then, at the end of the day, the United Site Services 70 for the K&N Pro Series East. So still 2.5 feature events left to go here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We are ready for the restart. The Toyota pace car is going to go ahead and head down pit lane. Doug Coby to the outside, Justin Bonsignore to the inside as we get ready for the restart.
Green flag is in the air, and Coby gets the jump at the start with a little help from Patrick Emmerling right up on the back bumper as they race down into turn 1.
Coby with the advantage up high, 3 wide for the moment. Newman goes to the bottom as Bonsignore shutter steps in the middle. He starts to fall back. Now with Coby up front, he gets a challenge from Patrick Emmerling in the bottom.
Boy, they certainly gobbled up Bonsignore in a hurry. He got stuck in the middle. They were 3 wide for a couple of rows back there at the start, and Coby comes out in front. We'll call it a comfortable lead when it comes to modifieds on this racetrack. It's by about 3 car lengths going down into turn 1. He's being chased by Patrick Emmerling.
That's about as big as that lead is going to be all the way to. Looking for the third spot, that's John Kennedy. Behind the Kennedy in the battle for 4th. They're stacked up 2 wide. Ryan Newman is there. John Kennedy is in. Meanwhile, they're up front. Everybody is facing the duo of Doug Coby and Patrick Emmerling.
Yeah, those those two have hooked up and they're starting to pull away from the rest of the field. They got their own battle going, nose to tail across the stripe. McKennedy is by himself. He was getting challenged by Catalano the last lap, but Catalano has faded on him ever so slightly.
Catalano clear slammed first on Ryan Newman the last time by the front straightaway. Newman rolled on the driver. Now he's locked up the side-by-side battle with Bobby Santos, who goes through the bottom.
Yeah, Santos, who was working the bottom, is able to clear those cars and get up into the upper groove and take Ryan Newman with him. Newman, not content to follow Santos, looks down underneath going into turn one.
That yellow line at the bottom. And Santos in the high groove in the middle. Still trying to take that time for turn two. And that purple number in the five. He's able to get it again and put the lead on Ryan Newman in turn two.
Yes, boy, does he ever, too. Drives down underneath Newman into three and slides right up in front of him. Will lead him out of turn four. That is the battle for the sixth place as Silk gets by him and goes to a solid six. Meanwhile, those two drivers up front, Emmerling and Kobe, that have hooked up together, they're not battling side by side. It's Emmerling following Kobe, and that's allowing them to pull away from the rest of the field.
Right up to the rear bumper of McKennedy as they come back to the front straightaway. This is a battle for third and fourth.
And we'll be adding Bobby Santos to the mix in that battle for third and fourth as he's caught right up to the back bumper of Tommy Catalano. Those three will race together out of turn two and down the backstretch.
He'll make his way back into that single file. Matt Swanson and Ryan Newman in the deep battle. Newman looking low in turn three. 7-7 bottom slides up across the nose of Swanson and takes it away.
Yeah, Newman trying to come back to get up there and battle for a top 3 or 4 spot, and faded just a little bit, and pretty good gap between himself and the car that's right in front of him, the 46 of Craig Lutz.
Up front, Doug Kobe leading Patrick Emmerling. Kobe, a 4-time New Hampshire Motor Speedway winner, but he hasn't won since 2016. He looks like he's in winning form again today. And Emmerling, who won that All-Star Shootout yesterday, right back to where he left off.
Yeah, and Emmerling's kind of lost the draft with him as Kobe's able to put a couple of car lengths between himself and the 0-7. And with Emmerling by himself, that'll allow that tandem of McKennedy and Catalano to catch him as they race down the backstretch.
Battle for third. It's Catalano darting down to the inside in turn three. And he takes over the spot. So Catalano gets by the pole sitter McKennedy. Quickly closing in is Bobby Santos.
Yeah, while they're battling together, McKennedy gets right up on the back bumper of Catalano, but that allows Santos to get into that battle as well. So we've got that group of 5 cars, which is the third spot on back. Just about a half a length between all of them down the backstretch.
Ronnie Silk having a good run today as well, the 85 car, riding back there in the 6th spot, watching this top 5 battle unfold right in front of him.
Patrick Emmerling is caught back up to Doug Kobe. He actually gave him a pretty good shot coming across the stripe here as they go nose to tail on a turn 2 and down the backstretch. Now Catalano by himself in third. McKennedy trying to reel him back in from the 4th spot.
Catalano is coming as well. Watching the battle, Doug Kobe and Patrick Emmerling. Catalano has taken what was a 10 or 15 car length advantage in the top 2, and he's cut it down to only about 4 car lengths this week.
And the two of them up front hooking together again, trying to get away, but it's not working like it did last time. Catalano hanging tough now within about a half a car length of the back bumper of Patrick Emmerling as they head down the backstretch. Emmerling will take a look to the inside of Kobe, trying to make the pass, trying to outbrake him into turn 3, and does. Gets by him and slides up in front. Looks like Emmerling will lead this lap.
Kobe got a big run off turn 4. Nose out for just a moment, but then settled back in lines. You saw Catalano charging hard behind him. The top 4 now all together, nose to tail, about a car length between. Emmerling needs to charge him off the turn. Midway down the back straightaway, here comes Kobe charging again.
Yeah, Kobe right up on the back bumper of Emmerling, decides not to look underneath, but instead follow him through that 3rd and 4th turn as they head down the front stretch. Emmerling will lead that lap again, but Catalano right there, as is McKennedy. Then you got to go 4 car lengths back to Bobby Santos in the 5th spot.
Patrick Emmerling has been good here before. New Hampshire, one race at Bristol. He's good on the main stages. We've never seen him lead laps like he has this weekend and be as strong as he has this weekend. Here's Kobe challenging down to the inside. This time Catalano is going to come right along with him. Catalano is going to try to go from 3rd to 1st through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, trying to make the 2-car pass. Can he make it stick? No, he's stuck down on the bottom. And with Kobe and Emmerling together, they're able to keep him at bay. So Catalano falls right back up behind them in the 3rd spot.
He's studying the competition for a move later on in the race. He hasn't played in the front of the field in his entire career, so this is new for Catalano. Doing a good job up there in that red number 54. McKennedy is there, and now this 4-car draft up front becomes an 8-car draft. Joining is going to be Bonsignor, Bobby Santos, and Robinson.
Yeah, they are all now together as they race down into turn 1. Kobe is at the point. Emmerling is 2nd. Catalano is 3rd. McKennedy is 4th. And right there within striking distance of them is Bonsignor, Santos, Silk, and Matt Swanson in the number 3.
Swanson joining in Taylor field. A little bit deeper in the field, Eric Goodale, Chase Dowling, and Craig Lutz, a good battle. And this is for 9th. Just coming up off turn number 4. But the top 8, single file, led by Doug Kobe. Patrick Emmerling right there with him. Top of Catalano putting pressure on the top 2.
Down the backstretch, Emmerling once again up on the back bumper. Kobe actually gives him a couple of taps down the backstretch and will follow him through the 3rd and 4th turn. They are content to follow each other now through the turn and on the front stretch. Again, planning for their next move as the laps wind down. We're 54 of 100 complete.
Kobe holding that high lane. Working into his advantage. Logging some laps here. Eyeing up the competition. You see him trying to break the track. Darting down the inside lane, they need to pick up a draft from the 01 versus Blackfield with a bypass off of turn number 4. And Doug Kobe, 5-time series champion, has been down so far today.
Patrick Emmerling has been able to hang with him all the way. As you mentioned earlier, a great run for Tommy Catalano in the 3rd spot. Pretty much those top 8 cars continue to run together down into turn 3.
Emmerling choosing not to go by Doug Kobe, right up to the rear bumper. Feathering the throttle just a little bit. These cars with those big 15-inch tires in the front, they get such a lift. You can see how the draft works to the advantage here at this racetrack. Patrick Emmerling saving the goods for the very end. Yesterday was a last lap pass that got the victory here at the non-points all-star shootout. And he played it similar to how he's playing it today.
Can history repeat itself? He made that move even with Bobby Santos trying to throw the block yesterday to keep him from getting to the front, but he muscled his way through, and we know the outcome of that one. They were 3 wide at the finish line. Here's Emmerling taking a look to the inside as they race down into turn 1.
He's got the spot this time by. Turns up into the outside lane and puts a car length and a half. Here's just Kobe off turn 2. Kobe closes right in, tap to the back bumper goes Kobe. Then Kobe stays right in the line and then down into turn number 3. Catalano and McKennedy right there.
Yeah, Patrick Emmerling wanted to change his view. He'd had enough of the back spoiler on Kobe's number 2 and decided to get down on the inside and make the pass. Kobe stays right with him, taps the back bumper of the 07 as they head down into turn 1.
You don't have to worry too much about keeping these cars cool. All the air that blows into the front of these automobiles. It's not like a stock car. Even though it's hot here today, New Hampshire, Kobe, he wants to be a commando. Moves in, takes over the top spot again, and Emmerling slides back into 2nd. Watch that move. Kobe able to dart down to the checkered flag. That's an important one. Sizing up the competition for what could be a national finish here. Still a long way to go. 41 laps to go, but put that one in the memory bank. It's down the back straightaway, into turn 3, sweeping up in front of your competition, and trying to take that advantage.
Amazing how they all still run together. The top 5 are right nose to tail coming out of turn 4. Then you go back about 3 car lengths to Bobby Santos in the 6th spot, and a couple more back to Ron Silk running in 7th. So I don't know that we've heard the last of Santos or even Ron Silk at this point.
Santos' caution flag is out. We've got trouble up in turn 3 and 4. Anthony Nocella has gone around. Multi-cars. The 34 machine of J.B. Fortin involved as well. And he has caught the outside wall. So a couple of cars involved in incidents, both machines backing it into the turn 3 safer barrier. It doesn't matter whether or not it's the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series or the Whelen Modified Tour. We've had a lot of that this weekend. What a hit.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hit, too. The way Nocella went in there backwards, we see the replay on the ISM Connect screen, and Fortin went with him with nowhere to go but to wind up there at the top of the track with him as well. And looks like he's able to pull away, but Nocella looks like he will not pull away from the accident scene, as he's got heavy damage to the back of the Nocella paving number 92.
Yeah, Fortin had pulled up alongside the driver's door of the 92 for Anthony Nocella, backed up, and then brought the car back down along the front straightaway. Smoke billowing out the left side where the sheet metal is rubbing up against that left rear tire. Anthony Nocella climbing from that number 92 machine, badly damaged. Hurt the left rear of that machine, knocked the right front off it as well. Smoke billowing off J.B. Fortin's number 34. That's where the Nerf bar, that's what they call those bars that go around those modifieds to protect the tires. That Nerf bar is what's creating the smoke. They can pull that back with one of those big Dominator pry bars and get that out of the way. And he might be able to continue on just with a little bit of repair onto that sheet metal there on the left side.
Well, so far, it hasn't caused the tire to go down, which always can create another problem with the rubber of a blown tire beating on the car as well. So that tire has stayed up at least now till he makes it to pit road, but they got some work to do when he hits his pit stall.
Fortunately for the modifieds, those Nerf bars have a nice little shiny sheen on them, so it rubs up against the tire. It's a flat metal bar that's up against it, so it's not like a sharp object pointing towards it, which helps that survive. And Fortin is finally able to get that along down to pit lane. They'll change the left rear, put a pry bar on it, try to push that Nerf bar back and away and out of the tire. That way he can continue on around this racetrack and get around for the final 38 laps of this Eastern Propane and Oil 100. So far today, Pete Falcone, this has been a game of chess. Typically, you'll see guys be aggressive, go after the lead, really be racy up front. We've seen that from 5th on back, but the guys up front, they're playing a strategy game, playing a game of chess throughout this race, and now it's time to see who's going to be able to secure the win as we come down for what should be the final pit stop of the day and tires for just about everybody on pit road.
Yeah, the chess game has moved to pit road, and they will go to work. The Jacks and the Air Wrenchers working overtime down there for a number of these cars, as they're all down there working on the right side of most of it. We'll see who's able to get out of there first.
Traditionally, Justin Bonsignor and his team have had the fastest pit crew over the past couple of years. They changed 3 tires on these machines, and the tires are big and the pattern is very wide, so it takes a little bit longer to change tires on a modified than it does on a late model or a Cup Series car. Already off of pit lane, here comes Eric Goodale, one of the first cars to make his way out. Tommy Catalano with a great stop for their team, 3 wide off the end of pit lane, and Tommy Catalano is going to be the car that wins the race off of pit road. A big, big moment for this team. A family operation beating all of the big teams off of pit lane to win the race back out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, they were thrashing on it when he pulled into his stall, and he is only about a quarter of the way down pit road. So he got to the stall first, but backed it up with some quick work down there to get back out, drive the rest of pit road, and stay out in front. The guy who didn't get out so quick is Justin Bonsignor, just leaving the pits in the 51.
What have you done for me lately, right? Justin Bonsignor, his team, why they won the championship last year, I believe, had a lot to do with the strength of their pit crew on pit road today. It's going to cost them a bunch of spots. We'll see where he stacks up once everything comes back around. So Tommy Catalano came down pit lane. He was running the 3rd spot, but trouble. Catalano back on pit road again. They're going to put a left rear tire on the side of that 54 car, a tough break.
Yeah, tough break for them for sure, as now left rear rubber going on. The jack goes down, and a very dejected crew. You can see by their body language when they change that tire, not happy at all, as he got out of there first. Now he's mired way back in the field.
There's 24 cars on the lead lap, and Tommy Catalano, they had to come back down pit lane, trouble on the pit stop, clearly with the left rear tire. He was quick on and off pit road, and I think some of the reason was because they had a clean entry and a clean exit out of pit road. Some of the teams that were all parked next to each other on the turn one end, they had to work around other teams that were changing tires and jacking their machines up. Catalano, quick service, maybe just a little bit too quick. Back on pit road, he'll have to start at the tail end of the field. Out front, Eric Goodale in the 58 machine. Hasn't been up front all day long, so a good stop for that team. Jason Shepard, the crew chief there. Cars run out of Connecticut. Eric Goodale and his team based in Long Island, but the cars are kept in Connecticut with Jason Shepard right at his house. He's the crew chief of the machine. Good call for him to be able to get this car out in front. And the 58 team now in command of today's event.
Want to have a little fun this evening? You'll want to join the Speedway Children's Charities annual track walk. That gets underway at 8 o'clock tonight. Get a chance to actually walk the Magic Mile here at New Hampshire with a lot of other fans that love to be down on the racing surface. It gives you a whole different perspective of what goes on down there when you get to move to the other side of the safer barrier and actually walk on the asphalt. And it all benefits Speedway Children's Charities. That's tonight from 8 to 9 p.m. See the Speedway Children's Charities group that is here today to get signed up for that. They'll be taking off from the bathhouse, which is located over in the S3 lot, just opposite the tunnels in the first and second turn. And again, that walk tonight out here on the racetrack from 8 to 9 p.m.
Field is doubled up. They've been given the 1-to-go signal. We'll be set to turn them loose here again. The Eastern Propane and Oil 100 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Thanks for coming out. Very, very warm day. Be sure to stay hydrated throughout the day today. Drink plenty of water. We have cooling stations around the Speedway. If you want to take advantage of that, go down and get into the shade, relax, and then head back out into the racing area. On the front row, we have the 58 machine of Eric Goodale, who chose to start in the outside lane. Patrick Everling on the bottom. Row number 2, the 2 car of Doug Covey in the 85 car of Ronnie Silk. That's how they'll go to post. The Toyota pace car is on the apron, ready to come in for cover, as we'll look to get the green flag here with 33 laps remaining.
Pace car is off, and the green flag is in the air. And this time, Eric Goodale with a little bit of a jump at the start, but Patrick Everling hangs tough on the bottom, takes Doug Covey with him down into turn 1.
Everling's comes across the nose of Eric Goodale for turn 1 and 2. Doug Covey runs the bottom lane of the track, looks in the rearview mirror. He's got help from Matt Swanson, but it's the outside lane that moves. Here comes Ronnie Silk. Here comes down with Kennedy. They both go by Doug Covey. Yeah,
they really got a nice run up there on the outside as they are all nose to tail through the third and fourth turn and down across the stripe. Everling will lead that lap with the 58 of Goodale right behind him, and now Ron Silk up in the third spot in the 85.
We haven't heard a lot today about Chase Dowling, who's running his fifth right behind him, Robbie Summers. The 54 car running in the sixth spot. So a little bit behind them, it's Doug Covey who's fallen back to seventh now. It's a good action, but deeper in the field is Bonsignore in 51 tries to make up for Washington.
One of the other guys that did not benefit from those pit stops is Bobby Santos, who's mired way back in the 20th spot. Not a good pit stop for him. He'd be one that would want to be up towards the front in the final stages of this race. We've completed 69 laps of the 100, and he is out of contention, at least up front. We're watching Justin Bonsignore try to get back. 3 wide racing off the second turn and down the backstretch.
Bonsignore is running in the 17th position, right behind the 24 Andrew Krause. 3 wide, getting down into turn number 3 in the middle. Tyler Ripkema making his first start here in New Hampshire, but Bonsignore is charging from the back.
Yeah, he's hooked up with Max Zackham as they race down into turn 1.
Trouble for Patrick Everling, right front damage on the 070, stacked up in the middle. Everybody scattering around him in turns 1 and 2, but Patrick Everling has caught the outside wall and badly damaged the right side of the 07.
Look at this battle for the lead. Here comes Chase Dowling. Slides underneath Eric Goodale and up in front of him to lead that lap. But the caution flag is going to come out for the damaged Emmerling 07 just off the second turn.
Wow, Patrick Emmerling. Watch the replay here. Off the turn, he was out front, hooked into the right side, right across the start-finish line. Contact between he and John McKennedy as they were bump drafting down the front straightaway, and he has knocked the right side off of that 07. Yesterday's race winner in contention, one of the best cars in the track today, but Patrick Emmerling, some 29 laps shy of the finish, has a destroyed race car on the right side.
Tough one there as he got shuffled out of position by John McKennedy right behind him. Took a shot on the left rear, and that just rocketed him up to the outside wall, and heavy damage to the right front. You see it again as they come down just before the stripe. Emmerling catches that safer barrier just before the start-finish line, and he'll have to go on the hook, be taken back to pit road.
If you follow modified racing closely, you'll see that there's been a bit of a chassis war between different manufacturers that build these race cars. Patrick Emmerling and his team, who live up near Troyer Race Cars, they live up in Orchard Park, New York. That's where their team is based. They brought it over there. They brought Troyer Race Cars and one of the chassis manufacturers, LFR, together, and they built a completely new setup that nobody else has. Jan Leedy is a crew chief. As you see the incident here again on the ISM Vision screen and the contact for Patrick Emmerling, Jan Leedy is a crew chief, and he designed his own look at a chassis on that 07 car, and he had something different than anybody else in the field today, and that's one of the reasons why they were so successful here yesterday, one of the reasons why they were so successful here today. But boy, that incident is going to take them out of contention when they were heavily favored to come in here and dominate like they've done today, run up front. He's not going to make it to the finish.
And it's lucky it didn't get worse than it was, because once that right front was bent up, he of course was right out of the throttle, and everybody was scattering to get around him. Luckily, there was nobody three wide right behind him that could have run right over him. We see Ryan Preece on pit road now. The 6 heads to his pit stop.
Come around to the right side of his machine. Looks like they will change tires on this stop. Remember, the first stop that they came down pit road, they only made a chassis adjustment for Ryan Preece. Now they're going to go ahead and take the tire off and swap them around. So this is kind of an interesting deal. You only have so many tires that you can take in one of these modified cars, but they don't say that you can't move a right rear tire and put it on the right front, and take the right front tire and put it on the right rear. And in short track modified racing, it's often a strategy that works well. They check the air pressures, make sure everything works after you move the tires around. But that combination sometimes gives you a little bit more speed in the race car. It's a strategy that's won races before. Ryan Preece going to employ it here. He'll come back out onto the racetrack and be no better than 23rd once he rejoins the tail end of the field of the cars that are on the lead lap.
Well, if nothing else, he'll learn a little bit about the handling of that car after making that swap when he gets back out there and gets up to speed. But he's got some ground to cover if he's going to get to the front.
Maybe you're here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the very first time witnessing the Whelen Modified Tour. Ryan Preece is a name that you might be more familiar with now that he's a rookie in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. This is the division that he cut his teeth in. This is how he learned to race. He's a grassroots racer at heart. Even though he's a Cup Series star now, he was still down there working on his car. He builds these race cars. He works on it back in his shop. Now he's home in North Carolina. He does all the tire management on it, changes tires, air pressure, all of that. That's how he learned the skills that was required to be able to make it in NASCAR's National Series, and now he's taking advantage of it. And in his heart, modified racing is where he really likes to be. And boy, when he's got a good race car, he's a showman behind the wheel.
I guess when we get back to green flag racing, it would be safe to say it's go time. We're going to be at about the distance of a good old Saturday night shootout, about 25 or less laps to go when we get back to green. And let's look at some of those cars up front. Eric Goodale scored as the leader. John McKennedy in second. Chase Dowling, who was the most recent winner in the modifieds here at New Hampshire last fall, driving that number 99. Rob Summers in the 64, and Doug Coby round out the top 5.
Ronnie Silk in the middle of that as well. He runs in the 6th spot in the 85. Matt Swanson is 7th. 8th for Craig Lutz. Chris Pastriak has been in the top 10 all day. He's 9th. And Blake Barney rounding out your top 10. Set for the restart again here. We'll have 24 laps to go. We get the green flag and a final dash finish here today. The Eastern Pro-Painted Oil 100. Eric Goodale this time elects to take the inside groove on that last restart when he was a leader. He started up top. We'll see how this plays out for him. John McKennedy, the pole sitter, will start alongside.
Well, not a lot of time to stay patient, that's for sure, as the laps are winding down. And we get ready for the restart as the Toyota Camry pace car heads down onto pit road. They're side by side out of turn 4, looking for that green flag.
Along turn 4, green flag is played as the field racing across the granite stripe. Good push from Eric Goodale as he gets help from Chase Dowling on the bottom of the number 99.
Yeah, Goodale is able to lead them down into turn 1, and Dowling is able to clear McKennedy 3 wide once again from 4th on back as they race down the backstretch. Boy, it is tight.
Being in the middle is been harder. The starts is going to lose a couple of spots. As Matt Swanson and Chris Pastriak advance now to the top 5. Swanson in that 3 car digging on the bottom, trying to take the spot away from Robbie Summers.
Chase Dowling stays on the back bumper of Eric Goodale as they try to get away. John McKennedy watches from the 3rd spot and still hugging that yellow line on the bottom as Matt Swanson trying to advance position.
This time momentum goes to the advantage of Ronnie Silk on the high lane of the racetrack. He charges in, takes over 5th, and Matt Swanson, the lone duck on the bottom, backpedaling on the straightaway. But by the time he gets to the turn, the short way around works to advantage, and he starts to pick up some more ground.
Here's McKennedy now back up on the back bumper of the 99 of Dowling as they race down into turn number 1. They are nose to tail about the top 10 positions.
Look at the cars deeper in the field, 2 wide. Ryan Newman, Justin Bonsignor, Ryan Priest, all working the bottom lane of the racetrack. Newman now stuck in the middle, and Bonsignor shuttles him on the lane, 4 wide, getting into turn 3. Dive bomb move by Ryan Priest to the inside.
Boy, Priest trying to make that work on the bottom. On the outside of him, Newman, Max Zackham, and Timmy Solomito.
Up front, John McKennedy surges to the lead. Crossover move Goodale. Off turn 2. Neck and neck for the top spot. Outside advantage. Here comes McKennedy. Drafting help from Chase Dowling. He takes over the lead in turn 3.
McKennedy back to the point. Yes, with the help of Dowling. That outside row all stuck together. And Goodale gets mired down on the bottom as they all race around him on the outside. All caught up in the draft. And the caution flag is out.
Caution flag slows us here again as the problems now persist for the 97 of Brian Doza, who's caught the outside wall. His car paused right in the middle of turns 3 and 4 up by the Magic Mile logo. So Doza in trouble. And the caution flag is out 20 laps from the finish. Well, how about that? Boy, John McKennedy, very aggressive move to be able to take over the top spot. Watch what happened here in the replay. You see Doza lose it in turn 3 and just side slap that safer barrier. We've seen that all weekend, whether it's the Monster Energy Cup Series cars or these modifieds. A lot of people having trouble up there in that upper groove.
And sometimes you can just misjudge it when you're going in. And the minute, as we said before, once you that thing gets away from you in the turns here, you don't have the advantage of the high banking to try and slow you down as you slide to the outside. And sure enough, it just takes off from you and you're up into the wall before you know it.
Ryan Priest, Andrew Krause, both back on pit lane. Priest and this team continuing to work on this car to get it just right. He was charging through the field, but he knows he needs a little bit more if he wants to go up there and get the win. Still looking for that first point-paying win for Ryan Priest here today. That's 6 New York. Car owned by Eddie Partridge from Long Island. And this car has held some of the great drivers in the history of modified racing as well. Chase Dowling, car number 99, that black machine, owned by Jamie Tomeno, legendary modified driver. Chase has largely fallen off the Northeast motorsports scene for a while. Hadn't run many races this year, has only run 3, with this being the 3rd one. Won the big race here in September a year ago, the Musket 250. It was his very first Whelen Modified Tour win. Set the world on fire with it, was flying high, and then parted ways with his team at the end of the season. The LFR house team that does not field the car here in 2019, and ended up teaming back up with Jamie Tomeno to try to go back at it. He's had some good runs, trying to capitalize here on the big stage. He's been pretty quiet today. Bottom half of the top 10 for much of the race, and now when the money is on the line, Chase Dowling somehow, some way, finds his way back inside the top 3.
Well, we've had an eye on him all weekend. He was fast in practice yesterday, and when it came to qualifying, he started in the 8th position. So he's had a good race car all weekend long, and I wouldn't count him out here as we get down to the latter stages of the Eastern Propane and Oil 100.
A very crafty and talented driver. Very, very smart behind the wheel of a race car. Has made his name known in modified racing. Anytime that number 99 with Chase Dowling pulls into the pit area, everybody's eyebrows go up. They start paying attention because they know what this kid can do. Field has been given the 1-to-go signal. The Whelen Engineering lights around this New Hampshire Motor Speedway go out. And we'll try it again. We'll come back to the line this time. It'll be 16 laps to go. Eric Goodale, John McKennedy on the front row. You know, Goodale, this place has been love or hate for him. He's had really good runs, and he's had runs that he's going off on the hook more times than he can count. They played a good strategy game down there on pit lane with Jason Shepard, the entire team, to get him the track position to be out in front. Now what can he do with it? He knows he's got a fast race car. Can he keep a cool head, play the strategy game, and bring that 58 machine to victory lane? Coming to green this time.
Pace car guides them slowly through the 3rd and 4th turn. This will be lap number 84 when they cross the stripe for the green flag this time. Back down into the restart zone, and the green flag is in the air. This time they're side by side across the stripe. Down into turn number 1, Eric Goodale by a slight margin will lead the inside row through that 1st and 2nd turn.
Both Goodale and Chase Dowling able to clear the outside lane of Kennedy, but Dowling washes up the racetrack. That opens up the groove to the bottom for Ronnie Silk. Silk now wheel to wheel with Dowling in turn 3, and he's going to the lead.
Yeah, boy, he's got a great run down there on the bottom. Slides up in front of Goodale to take that lead, and will lead this lap across the stripe. Goodale for 2nd with Chase Dowling right on the back bumper.
Ronnie Silk now out in front. Meanwhile, 3 wide move. Ryan Newman all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, bringing Justin Bonsignore right along with him. He picks up a ton of positions in that 77.
And that went to the expense of Matt Swanson, who got stuck in the middle and lost several spots because he had no one to go with him in that line. Here they come off the 4th turn. It's now a comfortable lead for Ron Silk. They're all chasing him as he's out in front by 3 car lengths down into turn 1.
Dowling now makes a bid for it. Underneath there, Goodale to slide into the 2nd spot again. But keep your eye a little bit deeper than that. 2 and 3 wide action. Justin Bonsignore racing side by side with Ryan Newman on the back straightaway. Newman gets a driver help from that left.
Newman is out in front of him, but hey, look at Justin Bonsignore, drives right underneath him. They're side by side out of turn 4, but Newman will win that battle. Matt Swanson trying to come back. He's got Craig Lutz with him. They're nose to tail as they head down into turn 1.
Just a moment ago, Craig Lutz was racing toward the top 5, 3 wide in the middle. Bonsignore gets shuffled out of line. They are still stacked up coming off turn number 2 in the back straightaway. Newman side by side with Swanson on that.
And up front, here comes John McKennedy mounting a charge down on the inside of Eric Goodale, trying to take the spot away. Can't do it. He'll shuffle up behind him. Doug Kobe's right with him, and Rob Summers. They round out the top 6 cars.
Kennedy looking low for third. Inside turn number 2, sliding up the racetrack, and forces Eric Goodale to roll onto the throttle. Now here comes Kobe charging to the back bumper.
Yeah, Kobe taking a look to the inside of Goodale, goes to make the move into turn 3. Was that move too late? No. He's able to make the pass and slide up in front of him as they head out of turn 4.
Meanwhile, Justin Bonsignor continuing to dig on the inside lane a bit deeper in the pack. Finally, all that 2 and 3 wide racing begins to calm down, but not for long. Remember Tommy Catalano. He had that problem when he entered down the road a second time. He got another spot. He just went by the 75, the pass react. That moves him in 8th position here in the late going.
Silk continues to lead, but he cannot shake Dowling, who stays right with him on the back bumper out of turn 4. McKennedy in turn on the back bumper of Dowling, and here comes Doug Kobe. He takes a look to the inside, but he'll tuck it up right on the back bumper of McKennedy to run through the first and second turn.
Top 5 cars are going to field through turns 1 and 2. Controlling the veteran Ronnie Silk, former series champion. Back in the 2011 season, back in his A game here, the youngster. The outstanding Chase Dowling right behind in second, followed by McKennedy, Kobe, and Goodale.
Just 9 laps to go, this time by Silk, looking for his second win of the 2019 season, hoping to take Kevin Stewart to victory lane once again as they race nose to tail. It is tight. They are all together, the top 6-7 cars now on the backstretch.
Everybody biding their time for the moment. Deeper in the field, Ryan Newman, Ryan Priest drafting together. They're back in 15th, trying to make forward progress.
Here they come across the stripe again, all nose to tail, the top 4 in a freight train with Silk out in front, Dowling right behind, John McKennedy. Then you've got Kobe in the 2, Goodale in the 58, and he's hooked up now with the number 3 of Matt Swanson.
Over the past couple of races, here's McKennedy sweeping down to the inside in turns 3 and 4, trying to go from 3rd to the top spot.
Of course, he takes himself out of the draft. He's trying to find a space to get up there and does. Squeezes between Silk and Dowling to get into the 2nd spot.
How bad does John McKennedy want it? Last year, Bobby Santos won the race. He led 3 laps. You got to make your move late if you want to win this one. That's what the history books will tell you. Last lap passes are the norm. Kobe now positioning himself in the 3rd.
Yeah, Kobe's able to get underneath Chase Dowling to take over the 3rd spot. He might not be done yet either. All of this going on in the mirror of Ron Silk as Silk tries to break the draft by diving down to the bottom of the racetrack here on the front stretch.
Swanson now darting low. Blue number 4. The 3 car trying to take over the 4th spot as they come off turn number 2 to the back straightaway.
Here's Kobe with McKennedy, both trying to get up on the back bumper of Ron Silk. Silk again trying to break the draft and hope that he can get away from these guys and put a few lengths between them, but they hang tough. McKennedy right there on the back bumper of Ron Silk, as is Kobe with McKennedy down into turn 1.
Single file for the moment. Nobody able to step on the line, go a little deeper in the field. Somebody got on the radio and said, Bobby Santos, car 36, it is time to go. Santos is now within striking distance. He's back in the 6th position. He's got a hot rod here in the final few circuits.
Here's Kobe taking a shot down on the bottom, trying to make a 2-car pass. Will it stick? No, Silk is able to get the nose out in front of him, and the question is there room for him to slide up? Yes, there is. Kobe slides up right behind Silk. Here comes Dowling with Matt Swanson in the number 3. They're working the bottom of McKennedy, and just like that, McKennedy is shuffled back from 2nd to the 5th spot.
Less than 4 laps to go. Up front, Ronnie Silk, and he's got a mirror full of laser tools. Number 2 of Doug Kobe. He's all over him in turn 3.
Time for defense as far as
turn 3. It's Bobby Santos who has gone around. Multiple cars involved as they go spinning through turns 3 and 4. Max Zackham trying to avoid in the outside wall. It all started just outside the top 5. Bobby Santos was one of the first cars to go around, and the caution flag is out here just a few laps from the finish.
looks like Santos is able to drive away, but the damage a little more to the number 20 of Max Zackham. No, Santos is now stopped. You can see damage to the right front of Zackham's number 20. So we're under caution in the late stages of this race. And we talked about Bobby Santos coming up and working his way back up to the 6th spot. You know, he likes to wait, save some of the car, and he did, but unfortunately lost it up there in the 3rd and 4th turn. Max Zackham checking the damage on the right side of that car. He is okay, but out to check how badly the number 20 is damaged over there. Santos has the window net down and talking to the safety crew over between the third and fourth turn. Here's the replay on the ISM Connect screen, and you see Justin Bonsignor way down below the yellow line, slides up the racetrack and connects with Bobby Santos, sends him around, and then Max Zackham, with nowhere to go, slides right in with the right rear and the right front into Bobby Santos, and that's how we end up the way that we are. Red flag is on the field. They have stopped the cars over in the third turn area so that they can clear the accident scene, and here it is again on the replay. You see Santos. Boy, Eric Goodale just got by a spinning Bobby Santos. Even Chris Pastriak caught a piece of the wall in that number 75, and again Max Zackham with nowhere to go ends up sliding into Santos number 36. Bobby is out of the car, being directed to the safety vehicle. And a tough break for the driver who had won the last 3 out of 4 modified races here at New Hampshire, making his first start in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. His usual team that he had gathered all those wins with, the Tineo Motorsports team, deciding not to field a car in 2019. And Bobby's been out racing and winning races in the Midwest in both sprint cars and some midget races as well, and doing quite well here in the season, and comes back east to take the seat normally occupied by Dave Sapienza. Sapienza, of course, injured in a race earlier this season, and elects to put Santos in the car here at New Hampshire. And why not? As we said, he'd won the last 3 out of 4, but unfortunately goes off on the hook. Santos, who was in contention for that all-star shootout here yesterday at New Hampshire, finished second to Patrick Emmerling. And so the first and second place cars from the shootout have gone off on the hook here this afternoon. And history will continue with that side of it, and that is that no one that's won the all-star shootout on a Friday has gone on to win the Saturday 100-lap race in the modifieds, and that'll hold true here today. Doug Coby, who's been challenging right up front with Ron Silk. Coby finished third in that all-star shootout yesterday, which is all part of the Friday program here at New Hampshire. Still plenty of racing to come this afternoon once we finish with the Victory Lane ceremonies for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. We have, of course, the NASCAR Xfinity Series ready to come to the track for their Roxor 200 here this afternoon. Shortly after the finish of this event, we will begin the pre-race ceremonies for that, and look for a green flag around shortly thereafter. 4 o'clock this afternoon, the Roxor 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and then we'll wind up the on-track action with the United Site Services 70. It's a 70-lap race for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Those cars qualified here yesterday. That was the final on-track activity here at New Hampshire yesterday, the qualifying for that 70-lap race, which will be the conclusion of today's on-track racing. And that'll leave us with one, the big Foxwood Resort and Casino 301 for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Those cars, of course, qualified yesterday afternoon, and with that qualifying on yesterday to set the starting lineup for the Foxwoods Resort and Casino 301 tomorrow. The Cup cars were on the track twice for 2 practice sessions here today. And of course, the big story out of the practice sessions both yesterday and today is the number of cars that met with incidents on the racetrack, them connecting with the outside wall. handful of cars having to go to backup cars. In fact, the 88 of Alex Bowman not only had to go to the backup car, but he had that problem here today with his backup car. And last we saw was Jimmy Johnson's backup car, the 48, being rolled out of the trailer to be used for the number 88 in the actual event here tomorrow. Meanwhile, back to the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Ryan Preece with yet another stop on pit road. Attention to his crew as they get them lined up and get ready for the restart here. So we've got 5, now call it 4 laps to go with the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And this is not over yet. So the thrilling finish is yet to come. But right now, let's go trackside. Here's Jose.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. We're down here and we're trying to find creative ways to stay cool. And I found a couple guys over here that I think can help us out. So first I got to find out their names. What's your name, buddy?
Anthony.
Anthony and
Blake.
Blake. Anthony and Blake. Now, how are you guys beating the heat down here? You got some squirt guns there? Now, I noticed we drove by on the golf cart earlier, and what did you do?
We've been squirting.
Yeah, you've been squirting, which I welcomed. And as a matter of fact, I think we might get a little display of that right now. So can you guys help me cool off just a little bit? Maybe spray it up in the air so it comes down like rain. We're gonna try it out. You ready? Here we go. Let's see if we got a good shot. Straight up. Let's get a little. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I feel good. Oh, man. We got one more lap to go, and then NASCAR overtime coming up. Stay cool out there, folks.
I'll tell you, Jose gets all the tough assignments, that's for sure. Boy, that'll feel real good about right now. Thanks, Jose. We'll be hearing from Jose throughout the weekend here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and we'll see him on Trackside Live tonight down on the big stage just outside the tunnel here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Of course, Trackside Live show taking place from 7:45 to 8:45 tonight, and that's going to get followed by an appearance by Dirty Deeds, the AC/DC tribute band at the Trackside Live stage. That's going from 9 to 10:30 tonight, right after the Trackside Live show. So plenty of action off the racetrack tonight as well for you to enjoy for your big NASCAR weekend. We talked about the fact of Chris Pastriak making some contact with the wall, trying to get around Bobby Santos, and you see he went in for service on pit road in that number 75 as the lights are extinguished on top of the pace car. Toyota Camry pace car will head to pit road, and we'll get ready for this restart. Ron Silk, the leader, will restart on the inside with Doug Coby right alongside on the outside. Green flag is in the air, and it's a drag race down the front stretch. Coby with a shot from McKennedy in behind, and Dowling will go with Silk down on the inside. Here is Dowling making a move down underneath Silk for the lead, but off of turn 2, Silk with the momentum on the high side, and a big shove from the number 2 of Doug Coby. Those two break away as now McKennedy tries the outside of Dowling, but we don't even get another lap in before the caution flag comes back out, in trouble up in the first turn. Heavy damage for the 32 of Tyler Ripkema. Ripkema in the 32 into the outside retaining wall, and we're under caution once again. So we are headed into overtime here for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, as yet another car will go off on the hook. Talking about activities to enjoy here at the Speedway following the on-track activity. Again, the Speedway Children's Charities Track Walk happening tonight. Of course, that all benefits Speedway Children's Charities that does such great work with local organizations, a great fundraising group that works with local organizations to support their causes, and you can help Speedway Children's Charities do that by being part of the annual track walk going from 8 to 9 o'clock tonight. It'll take off from the bathhouse, which is right up there in the S3 lot, which is across from the tunnels here at the Speedway, right next to the fan zone. That's where the walk will depart from. And you won't be missing the Trackside Live show either while you do the track walk, because it is shown on the big screen in the infield, so you can watch the whole show while you make your way around the Magic Mile here at the Speedway tonight, all while helping Speedway children's charities. And we mentioned, of course, the rock and roll show with Dirty Deeds, the AC/DC tribute band. That's on the stage after the Trackside Live show. That'll be from 9 to 10:30 tonight here at the Speedway. And of course, tomorrow morning things get underway early for those of you that'll be with us for the running of the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301 fan zone, opening up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And you can go out there and play games, listen to music, have a great time before coming into the Speedway and finding your seat for the event. The Trackside Live stage will have the live show tomorrow morning. A lot of fan engagement and appearances by drivers on the stage. That's tomorrow morning before we get underway with the pre-race activities here. The group Love and Theft will hit the Trackside Live stage from 12 to 12:45 for the pre-race concert. Ryan Newman will have a question and answer session in the fan zone tomorrow at noon. And that fan zone located in the S2 lot just opposite the tunnels here on the first and second turn of the Speedway. And to totally enjoy the experience here at New Hampshire, those that have the pre-race pit pass will have access to see their favorite drivers gridding on the racetrack. Track side of pit wall, opportunities to get autographs, see drivers up close. That's why you want to make sure that you get the New Hampshire Motor Speedway app on your phone, or certainly follow the Speedway through social media, because you find out about all of the special activities that can be a part of your experience here in New Hampshire by participating in the special packages that become available to fans, get you up close to the entire racing experience. You can be a part of it when you make your purchases in advance to coming to the Speedway. Always find out more online at the New Hampshire Speedway site online. Also, while you're here at the Speedway this weekend, make sure that you stop by the Light Lobster Lounge. It has a fresh new look for 2019. Of course, all of your favorite Coca-Cola products are there, along with Miller Lite products and various food options as well. It's the social spot, if you will, the Light Lobster Lounge, located over near the fan zone here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And we'll tell you again about the next appearance by the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. It's our big fall full throttle weekend here at the Magic Mile. Those dates are September 20th and 21st. The NASCAR Pinty Series makes its return to the Magic Mile on that weekend. They were here for the first time last fall and put on a great race. Cars very similar to what you see in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. They are the Canadian version of NASCAR sanctioned Pinty Series. They will be here as part of the full throttle weekend, along with the NASCAR K&N Pro Series and the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour for the Musket 250. This is an extra distance race, the longest of the season for the modifieds, and it turned out to be a thriller last fall. So you're going to want to mark your calendar to be here for that on September 20th and 21st. The full throttle fall weekend here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Repairs being made to the safer barrier up in the first turn area where the car backed in and got a bumper right into the safety barrier, so that work is being taken care of. As you see that 32 of Tyler Ripkema limping back via tow truck to the pit area. The checkered flag is going in the air, and it is an official race. The race will end under caution, and Ronnie Silk will be the winner in the number 85. To stay on schedule here this afternoon. Unable to restart the Eastern Propane and Oil 100, so the finish is official as the checkered flag flies, and the 85 of Ron Silk will be the winner. Doug Kobe finishes second, Chase Dowling third in the number 99, John McKennedy fourth in the number 7, fifth will go to the 3 of Matt Swanson, 6th to the 58 of Eric Goodale, then Justin Bonsignor 7th. Rob Summers in the 64 will be 8th. Tommy Catalano in the 54, 9th. And Craig Lutz in the 46 round out the top 10. 11th finishing position unofficially at this time will go to Timmy Solomito in the number 16. Andy Seiss for the 12th position. Sam Ramo in the 06, 13th, 14th to the 14 of Blake Barney, 15th to the 77 of Ryan Preece. And rounding out the top 20, Jeff Rocco in 16th spot, 17th to the 24 of Andrew Kraus, 18th to the 6 of Ryan Preece, 19th to the 38 of Kyle Elwood, 20th to the 75 of Chris Pastriak, 21st to the 33 of Wade Cole, and those are all the cars that finish on the lead lap. Ron Silk has taken the Kevin Stewart number 85 to victory lane, where we will hear from him in just a couple of minutes. Second win of the 2019 season for that team. They were a winner at South Boston, Virginia way back in March, picking up an impressive win for the Kevin Stewart racing team. And now Ron Silk, who's been strong here all weekend long and wins the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 that ends under caution. Hear from our winner in just a couple of minutes. TV interview down there in Victory Lane, and then he will address fans via the public address system, and we will set the stage for this afternoon's Roxor 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Those pre-race activities will take place in just a little bit down trackside, and again our final event of this race day will be the running of the United Site Services 70 for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. Victory Lane getting set up for the ceremony. You can watch it all on the ISM Connect screen here at New Hampshire. And in just a moment he will climb from the Stewart's Automotive number 85, and you can wish Ron Silk well for a win here this afternoon. Congratulations all around, and the water being poured over some of the crew. As we await our winner to climb out of what is obviously a very hot race car here this afternoon. Ron Silk, a winner here back in 2011, and returns to victory lane here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. He's out of the car. He can hear you now, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for Ron Silk, the winner of the Eastern Propane and Oil 100 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.